All right. So, what I wanted to talk about is that Disney released the first image from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Which I just want to call the Seven Dwarves because dwarfs sounds weird, and I guess that's just the Tolkien in me. But yeah, Seven Dwarves. Dwarfs. And the first image is actually quite a lot better than I expected, especially after those leaks that showed non-dwarfs as the actors. I'm a little confused about why those were released or why those images exist. Like, what were those? Because in this image, which we're looking at right now, you can see the dwarfs are basically CGI dwarfs. This looks like almost like a cartoon. And this, I have two thoughts about this, and I won't even belabor these points too much. This will be just a quick video. But first of all, this is a big missed opportunity to hire little people to play these roles in a live action retelling of or remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This was a good opportunity for them to hire actors who fit the bill for this sized person, for, in the fiction dwarfs, and to give them real stories and real characters with actual, personalities beyond just like angry, dopey, snuffly, or whatever, and to give them, actual characteristics and backstory and personality. So that's a shame. Because why make live action remakes that are mostly just animated? And that brings me to my second point. If you're going to do these live action remakes and then not have them be particularly live action, you've got all these dwarves that are clearly just CGI, why not just do CGI remakes instead? Why even bother with live action at all? I mean, Disney could just be leaning into its strengths as an animation company, bringing old movies like Robin Hood, Sword in the Stone, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Little Mermaid, bringing those into the CGI computer graphics era. Imagine a gorgeously animated CGI version of this movie. You wouldn't have to bother with, the live action at all, and it would probably be more lively and more fun and feel more Disney-like, and you can just do more with animation than you can do with live action. And things just, like The Little Mermaid, if that had been just an animated movie, the new one, but with CGI, they could have dispensed with the whole idea of making things look realistic, like the fish and the bird and the crab, Sebastian. Those characters lost a lot of their character and a lot of their life by trying to make them realistic. But they were still CGI, so they weren't live action, but they were going for that realism. And it just doesn't work for a movie like The Little Mermaid. All of these movies, these live action versions, are worse, partly because they just don't look as good, and partly because they lose a lot of their magic that they had in the animated versions, and partly because they make changes that aren't great. And honestly, a lot of the music, the new music anyways, is just usually not very good. I mean, like I've said before, I cannot really even think of a melody or a tune from the new Little Mermaid. I just can't think of it. Whereas, I can easily conjure, Under the Sea, Kiss the Girl, whatever. Same with Beauty and the Beast. There's new songs in that. I can't think of them, but I can think of it. Be Our Guest and all the other songs. I mean, Tale as Old as Time, all that stuff. They take the good, amazing, classic stuff, and then they add to it stuff that is just, by comparison, not great. So what I would like to see instead, if you can't come up with good music that's as catchy and as compelling as the stuff that the original composers came up with, then just don't add new music. Just stop adding stuff. If you're making these remakes, just remake them with better animation and sound design and all that. And if you're going to do live action, do live action. There are many little people out there who are actors who who, keep getting screwed over. Lord of the Rings. And now, this. And I appreciate movies like Willow that actually hired little people and gave them roles and gave them characters with actual stories and personalities and depth. I'm glad that this actually looks a little like a colorful adaptation. There's clearly it's nicely animated from this one image, but it is still a strange way to take this. And it's not as bad as it could have been, but it's odd. It is odd. As far as, the controversy around Rachel Zegler, who is Latina, a little darker skinned, I do think it's ironic. I get the irony of casting a Snow White as someone who's not Snow White, but she looks enough the part as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't bother me at all. I think that's just much ado about nothing, which is so much of the internet, so much of the bullshit online. People freaking out over nothing. For me, yeah, a bigger deal is the little people question. And it's interesting because, Peter Dinklage had come out to criticize this, but I think what he was really saying was not that he didn't think they should have little people in these roles, but that the actual premise of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is offensive because the dwarfs are just caricatures. They're just one-note characters that are only interesting because they're dwarfs, and rather than actual characters with personalities and so forth. So give them that. Give them depth. Give them character. And give actual people these roles if you're going to make a live-action movie. Or stop making live-action movies. Go animated. Make up your mind, Disney. Just make up your damn mind. And also, how about some more original princess movies and stuff? We don't need all these remakes all the time. There have been very few original Disney princess movies over the last 15 years. Especially over the last 13, since 2010 or whatever. We haven't had many. A couple Frozens and Tangled, Moana. But I mean, out of those, 2 are in the same series, so that's only really 3 in 13 years. So, anyways, all right, that's enough of that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Peace.